Hey everyone, this is Sheriden and I'm bringing you a playthrough and guide of the Flashpoint Mandalorian Raiders. First, I'll show you the background behind the instance.
Master Satele, come in. We've arrived at Carrick Station. Brief us on the situation.
So few have answered my call, but time is not our ally. We must act quickly. A Mandalorian clan attacked and hijacked our warship Elusis while it was undergoing refit at the Fondor shipyards. They're using the vessel to raid defenseless Outer Rim systems.
There's a bigger enemy behind this. Mandalorians don't sneeze without the Empire's permission.
We thought the same, at first. The Mandalorians are inflicting heavy casualties and extorting tributes from the conquered worlds. They're demanding weapons, medical supplies, even food. But once their victims hand everything over, the Mandalorians jettison their plunder out the Elusis' airlock.
The Republic has a responsibility to those victims. The Mandalorians are attacking them using our weapons.
The Republic's reputation is not the only one that's been damaged. The Raiders are a group of rogue Mandalorians from an especially militant clan called VARAD. They've broken away from the Empire and Mandalore's leadership. Clan VARAD is also attacking Imperial planets, and the Empire wants revenge. Fortunately, its fleet has been unable to destroy the Elusis.
If the Elusis attacked Imperial worlds and survived, it must be quite a ship.
Our engineers had just upgraded the vessel with advanced shields and weaponry when it was stolen. Republic spies just intercepted a coded transmission sent to the Imperial Grand Moff by a Sith Lord named Darth Malgus. The news isn't good.
Mandalore scouts have tracked their rebellious brethren to the Tamarin sector. An Imperial strike team is on its way to board Clan Varad's vessel. We will terminate the traitors, capture the Republic's warship, and add it to the Empire's arsenal.
The Elusis must not be captured by the Empire. We need its shield and weapons technology for our own defense.
If you need a team to capture that ship, you're talking to the right people.
Our only hope is to board the Elusis, defeat Clan Varad, and fly back to Coruscant before Darth Malgus' agents beat us to it.
Imperial forces are used to having Mandalorians for support, not adversaries. Our foes will be at a disadvantage.
That may be, but your fight will be much harder against two enemies. Better to get there first. I'm leading an attack fleet to your target's coordinates. Our ships will distract the Mandalorians so you can safely board the Elusis. Your assault shuttle is waiting in the station docking bay. May the Force be with you.
Now that's what I call an entrance. I really like how you don't just stroll through the doors, but actually blast your way in the side of the hull. It's these little things that BioWare does which add to the whole experience of the game and make you feel like you're actually doing something really heroic. As for this Flashpoint, I found it to be relatively easy, but lesser experienced players may have troubles. So I'll try and guide you as best I can and point out any tips which may help you succeed in this instance. Currently in the beta, it's around this level when enemies start to become a bit tougher, so you really must respect that and play with your full attention. Mandalorian Raiders is aimed for players around level 27, and as you can see I was at 28, almost 29, so I wasn't too far off the recommended mark, as were most of my group. After some warm up trash, you'll quickly run into the first boss, BRAXX the Bloodhound, who comes with 2 additional adds called Sanguine Salky Hounds. We initially attempted to use our crowd control abilities on the hounds, but we quickly discovered it wasn't possible. My force lift CC didn't work, and you'll also see my attempts to use stuns as well as area of effect knockbacks that didn't go through either. The reason for this is that they're integral to the main mechanic of the fight. BRAXX will use a large area of effect buff, which you can identify by the large red circle on the ground around him. If the hounds stand within this circle, it seems as if they gain a buff to their damage and attack speed. You can identify this by the fact that they turn red. This means you need to keep them away from him as much as you can. Luckily, it seems as if the hounds target random players, so all you need to do is spread out around the room and just keep the main boss central. The healer will have to heal up whoever is being targeted as well as the tank. Obviously at the time me and my party hadn't done this boss yet, so we're not exactly doing it very well, but even so we're still managing to pull it off. As far as I can tell, that's about it for this fight. Watching the footage back, there seems to be no other mechanics present. Quite simple really, and you shouldn't really have any problems. I would suggest killing BRAXX first like we did, and then finish off the hounds afterwards. Another thing to note is that the boss doesn't seem to drop any loot himself, but instead it is located inside a box behind where they stood at the start. Make sure you don't forget to loot it.
You're good, but you're not Mandalorians. The harder you hit us, the tougher we get.
Now there's quite a long way to go to get to the second boss encounter, and therefore a lot of trash to get through. I'm not going to bore you guys with all of that, so instead I'll provide you with some highlights. As you can see, there's this really cool moving tram which you need to use to get through to the next section. It really adds to the sense that you're travelling through an actual ship, and it looks awesome. You'll now need to make your way through a bunch of trash and then to a lift to take you to the higher level. I really love the design of this instance, and you'll find that there's a little surprise waiting for you when you come up to this trash pack. I'm not going to spoil it. Once you're through the door, you've got yourself to the next boss encounter.
Battle Team Royal, get in position. Cut down that scum.
This encounter is not the normal kind of boss. It is in fact a sort of PvE/PvP fight. You will be facing the classes of the opposite faction. So in this case, that's both the Sith Inquisitor and Warrior, as well as the Bounty Hunter and the Imperial Agent. My party was a little impatient and charged in quite fast before organising proper crowd control, so this fight will look a little messy than it should be. I would suggest using at least 2 crowd controls if you can. It is debatable which classes would be best, but I would say the most important would be the Sith Inquisitor. Why? Well, he seems to be the only one with a strong area of effect damage attack, which you'll get to see later on. The Bounty Hunter and the Imperial Agent don't appear to use heals, so I would ponder that if we hadn't crowd controlled him, he might have been the one who used heals. If the service was still available, I would go back and check on this for you. If you can crowd control a second class, I suggest either the Warrior or the Bounty Hunter. The Warrior has a pushback ability, and the Bounty Hunter has a small AoE explosive towards his target. So it's up to you which you find more annoying. If you have a struggling healer and a lot of melee, then I'd definitely suggest the Bounty Hunter be the best choice, because of the small AoE. As you can see, I'm getting into a little bit of trouble here, so I'll try and recast my crowd control and then hide out of sight of the others. I tried to use my force stun on the Warrior, but it didn't have any effect. I also tried to use the slowdown, which also didn't work. However, one thing you can use is knockbacks, which you might have seen me use earlier. When killing one of the classes, you will see a message explaining that the others will now fight with greater focus. I take this as meaning doing more damage, and perhaps using more abilities. This opens up the possibilities of kill order chains, especially for the heroic version of this fight. Talking of which, I expect to be quite difficult in comparison to this. One of the things you'll be able to notice just now is that I used my force lift on a character that was being knocked back. The CC still went through despite this, and he's currently stunned on the floor. We've now managed to kill all the enemy classes except the final one that I've been CCing the whole fight, the Sith Inquisitor. You'll be able to view his lightning AoE ability now. It looks like purple lightning. You'll be able to identify where it's going to land by the markings on the floor. At this point in the fight, all you've got to do is keep out the AoE and also heal up the tank. I found the fight quite fun and interesting, and a bit of a change of pace than the others.
At least that idiotic peace treaty hasn't made you soft. This might be a decent fight after all.
You'll now need to make your way through more trash and down a couple of lifts. It's worth keeping in mind that you can actually mount up in this area. If you decide to engage the trash on the sides, remember you can always use your pushbacks to knock them off the edge. As you can see, mine didn't work too well, but I'm sure if you place yours better, it'll work just fine. Once you've fought the trash at the bottom of the lift, you'll make your way to a console where you'll start a conversation and have to make some decisions between killing the Mandalorian engineers and technicians, which results in dark side points, or instead capturing them and receiving light side points. As you can see, all my team decided to pick the light side option. So down comes a shield, and now they are locked away.
Your little adventure is about to end. Come on, I'm waiting for you.
Now you will face the final boss, MAVRIX VARAD. He's level 25 and has close to 30,000 health points. He is the Mandalorian's clan chieftain.
This ship belongs to Clan VARAD. Time for you to die.
If there was ever a boss that they need to tune up, it's this one, in my opinion at least. He needs way more health and his damage needs to be increased. Even so, I'll give you some tips. The first thing you'll notice is he will jump around the map. He will also use an AoE explosive attack, which you can avoid by moving out of the markings on the floor. It doesn't seem to do much damage right now, but that could change. When he moves to the sides, he will summon turrets to assist him in the fight.
What's the matter? Getting tired? Ha!
If he's almost dead, like he is here, you may as well just ignore them till later. But if he's buffed in the live version, then you'll probably want to kill them off instead. At this point, I have no idea if there's more to this fight, because we killed him so fast. I can only guess it continues to jump around and summon more additional adds.
This is a good death. I'll see you in hell.
Again, don't forget that the last boss always drops 2 blues. In order to get out of the instance, use the little button on the bottom right, which says Exit Area. I'll now show you the end of the instance cutscene.
The Elusis was returned safely to Coruscant, Master Satele. Clan VARAD no longer poses a threat.
Repairing the damage those Mandalorians inflicted will take time, but the Elusis will now assist that process. The SAS intercepted another transmission from Darth Malgus to the Grand Moff. I thought you should see it.
The Republic showed unanticipated initiative. Our inability to secure their warship for the Empire is regrettable, but the rebellious Mandalorians were punished. I am gathering intelligence on the Republic agents who destroyed Clan VARAD. Such formidable opposition must be dealt with.
Sounds like we just went to the top of the Empire's to-kill list.
We know the Empire has spies in Republic space. They'll be tracking your activities. Judging by his transmission, Darth Malgus is determined to make examples of you. Take extra precautions. Thank you for your service. You saved many lives today. May the Force be with you.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this playthrough and guide. If you want more, be sure to comment and let us know below. We always welcome your feedback.